Hello, can you guys hear me? Hi, can you hear me? Hi, Maria, Bano, Ivana. I'm wearing headphones and I feel weird. Hi. Okay, good. Hi, user 123456. Waiting for my co-host Nicole. You're here. Hold on. Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Good. Okay.
nice and clear.
Good, good.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Excited. Can't wait to talk to everybody. Waiting for Patrick and Megan. Hold on. It's just notifying people right now. So are you excited? Where's Hi Angela.
Mm.
Okay. All right, so we have X-Rated and Gabe Rosales on today. We're just waiting for more people. It's just notifying people right now. And I'm waiting for Patrick and Megan to join us as well. And I think X is going to run a few minutes late, but he'll be here.
Okay.
Hi Jada. Haley. My bully Haley. And Bano. There's Patrick. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I had a hard time with hello then. Hello. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hi, President Patrick.
Hello. President President Patrick doesn't have his glasses on, so you can say
Oh.
whatever you want.
Yay.
He can't
I'll be
read
in the
it.
comment I'll be in the comment section then. Now I can vent. Hi Megan.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, everybody's nice and clear.
Yay.
Welcome. This is your first live, right? Or second? Hello?
Megan muted.
Oh, you guys don't have to be muted.
Oh. Well, there she is.
Oh.
So, I was telling them that X is going to be like a little bit late.
No problem.
Let me, let me,
Regina?
Can anybody hear me or no?
I couldn't. I can now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can
Hi,
any
Haley. I read your comment, Haley.
everyone could hear your cat, Patrick.
Oh, chips. Chips,
Chips.
stop.
Well, Gabe's here. We're just waiting. Let me get him on. Hi.
Hola, what are you guys doing?
How are you?
Hey.
Good. Just trying to
Good.
catch up on messages and stuff.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Gabe.
Hey, what's happening? I have a picture of Donovan Cafe, like the sign, and I was trying to post it in Instagram, but I don't know how to, I'm too much of a boomer to figure out how stuff works. But yeah, it's a classic picture of the cafeteria. They have this picture of like a green hot dog. It's like totally unappetizing.
Oh. I didn't know if you eat the prison food or what. That's why I asked you that.
Yeah, I mean, I know what they eat though.
I kind of. So they have a cafeteria for a guest?
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
for the
okay.
staff and stuff like that too. And they actually have really good spam burritos. That's what I get.
Spam?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's like a Hawaiian thing, you know.
That
Yeah.
I had that for dinner, spam.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No way. That's
Yeah. I love spam.
awesome.
Me
Me
too.
too.
I never hear people say that.
Right. Chips, stop. That's my cat. Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah, X is going to be late, Gabe.
Okay, no worries.
He's releasing a song tonight, so his time's really tight today. But
Yeah, seeing everybody. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good, good.
It's good to see all the people jumping on.
Everybody's saying hi in the comments.
Yeah.
Patrick, did you want to ask what you wanted to ask?
yeah, Gabe, you're staff at RJ Donovan, right?
I'm not. I'm actually like I'm kind of like I'm undocumented. I mean, like I'm a volunteer. That's what they call me. But I work for Jail Guitar Doors, right? So that's a program provider,
Oh,
and we get paid through California Arts Council, though. So it's really kind of a bizarre thing to call us volunteers because the correctional officers are paying taxes. That's paying for me to be there to make their job easier, and they call me a volunteer. It's kind of bizarre, but so I work with the CRM's office, and all these different departments are separated. You know, you got the community resource manager, mental health department, education. But I work very, very closely with pretty much all of the administration, like the heads in every one of these departments, because I've been there for so long, and I kind of just get in everybody's face. So that's what I mean. Like I'm undocumented, but in terms of like the different places I fit in. I think I mentioned last time, you know, when the new warden came in December, like the first week he was there, I was in like 2 or 3 Zoom meetings with him, and I'm sure he was just like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Right. So, but it's a long day for you. The day you go Wednesday, you're like from dawn to dusk, aren't you?
Yeah,
9 to
yeah.
9.
I leave my house at generally 7:15 a.m., 7:30 a.m. It's about an hour and a half drive to get down there because it's right on the border of Mexico and San Diego. And then I'm there from first class starts at 9:30 a.m., but I gotta get like basically on the yard by 9 a.m.
Right.
And then yeah, I'm there from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. pretty much. I leave the last yard probably about 8:30 p.m.
So, like when you go in, like, do you? In other words, do you have to go through security like a visitor would, like surrender your cell phone and that kind of thing?
Yeah, but it's different than a visitor because I don't go through like the place where the visitors go through. There's like a separate visiting section.
Oh.
I go with basically where the staff goes, where the correctional officers go, and I always leave my phone in the car, and they they do a full search. They search your bags. I bring in guitars, so they have to. But I got to pull my guitar out and shake it around. They got to make sure that I'm not smuggling drugs in the sound hole, you know.
Right.
And then I have like an inventory sheet. Sometimes everybody's different. Every correctional officer, nothing's consistent in CDCR. So it's like sometimes you just show it to them and they eyeball your bag and they look in your bag and they look at your guitar. And other times they want an inventory sheet with an itemized list of everything that you're bringing in, like everything down to like the pens, everything. So it depends. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and is your day the same every Wednesday, or is it different? Does it vary? In other words,
Uh,
do you go like teach a class and you know what I
but yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's the same. It's the same 3 yards every time because the class that I'm doing is 2 hours long, and so we start off on 1 yard, a level two, um, which used to be a level three. They just flipped it from 9:30 to 11:30. I got like a break until I go to Echo Yard where Eric and Lyle are. That's 1:30 on 1:30 to 3:30. Then I got another couple hour break till 6 p.m. Because our last class goes from 6 to 8 p.m. So I got these like little hour breaks, and there's a lot of paperwork you have to fill out too because everybody that signs in on your roster, like you have to, make sure that they're there for the amount of time. You have to give comments to the CRMs. Like there's just other things you got to deal with. Plus, I spend that time meeting with the administrators that I need to meet with, so I can try to make magic happen there.
Right. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's a trip.
It probably goes fast though on the time, even though like it's a
Yeah,
long day.
it is. It's a super long day. Lots of
Yeah.
caffeine. I'm a caffeine junkie. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
am I.
yeah, I mean it's like pre-workout first thing in the morning, and then yeah, when at Donovan, I have a little bit more towards the end of the day just to make sure. I feel so bad for the guys. It's like by 6 p.m., 8 p.m., like they're so excited to do something and have fun and play music, and it's like if I'm low energy, then it's just does them a disservice, and I don't want to come off like that.
Hmm.
But enough about me. What about you guys?
Yeah. People aren't tuning in to hear about us.
Yeah.
They don't care about Regina from
No.
Riverside.
Oh no, come on.
They want to hear from you and X.
No, for sure. I'm glad he was able to. Did he say what time he'd be able to jump on?
He didn't. He just said, he's releasing a song tonight at 9. So his day's been pretty tight, but he said he'll come on and do the best he can, but he was going to be late. That's all he said. So,
Cool.
yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I met with Lyle on Wednesday for a little bit just to catch up with him and just get some details about Eric and see how Eric was doing and stuff. So sucks, man. It's a bummer. I hate this stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we send him all our love and support and hope he heals quickly.
For
And to
sure.
Lyle and the family as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just getting ready. Just the usual, just prepping for the parole board, and then it's like every week is a different kind of tidal wave of information. Like I don't know if you saw, Ryan Murphy was on Gavin Newsom's podcast, and they were talking about a
Hmm.
bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
And so that was like another, just one of those things where like, okay, he's, that's just the way Gavin Newsom was speaking about it. It sounded like regardless of what the parole board says, he's going to make the ultimate decision. But I don't know if he understands. I don't know. We'll see.
Did
Um,
it seem like he was backtracking a little bit on the interview though?
I didn't listen to the whole thing. Actually, I read the transcript just when he talked about the brothers. But um, yeah, it was like I was glad Ryan Murphy kind of gave him a different perspective too. That he was able to show him that he's like, he changed his mind about the situation too. So that was
Hmm.
good. But I mean, this politics is politics, and it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, he's been like Newsom's been bouncing around on so many different things. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of don't know where he stands on certain things right now. So it's
Hmm.
tough, It's that whole politician thing.
Well, I'm glad they changed Ryan Murphy's mind because he was pretty mean to the monsters thing, like the things he was saying in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I
Yeah.
think he was like just kind of offended that like Eric and Lyle were like, this is not true. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
it's just all sensationalized and crazy and just kind of silly sometimes. The way they portrayed them because it's like, yeah, I mean, just knowing them and seeing the way they specifically Lyle, I was like, what the? They made him look so psycho. I'm like, he's not
I
at all
know.
like this. He's not at
Yeah.
all like this.
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
That was my biggest gripe from Monsters was how they portrayed Lyle.
Yeah.
It
I
really
mean,
was.
I didn't know him when he was younger. I mean, just for myself personally, I will say it, I was a total piece of shit when I was 21, 22. But I mean, there's no way that he could have been like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
with the Halloween candy and kids and stuff like that's so stupid.
Hmm. Yeah.
Go back to Van Nuys was the line. I got a kick out of that.
Jeez. Oh yeah, Van Nuys. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible the way they make them seem too, Eric and Lyle together. Like that was awful. It's really sensationalized.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they at least like what 2 weeks after that they had the whole actual other documentary that was with actual court
Yes.
footage and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, that was a good documentary.
I'm looking through the comments. Everybody, yeah.
And I'm trying to it's going fast. Yeah, the documentary was good.
People were
Bye,
trickling in.
Logan.
Anybody else have anything for now?
No, I was wondering if we could move on and just what we can do is maybe I know Nicole had the first question for
Yeah.
X. Maybe I could skip to the second question for Gabe.
Okay.
And then when X gets here, he'll be doing a lot of talking, but and we'll just move on from there.
Okay.
What do you think, Regina?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question we have for you, Gabe, under journey and transformation. Gabe, you've played with artists across genres and also had your own transformation. How did music become your anchor through chaos?
Oh wow. It was it's funny that you're even bringing this up right now because I'm actually writing like I have this what they call like graduate student research position right now for the summertime. So I'm writing about basically what I do in Donovan and kind of my journey because I'm not just a practitioner of like research. I actually in a lot of ways I lived it because it was my anchor through everything, and so I had to like kind of trace back to my childhood to figure out how I started getting into this. My parents used to play Mexican folk music when I was a kid, so like I was used to seeing my mom and people playing instruments at home. And then I was a latchkey kid. I think just like a lot of 90s kids were, right? I mean, mom had to work. My parents got divorced when I was young. And so she was out working. I'd come home from school, but I was very, very fortunate to have a piano like at home. It wasn't like, and it was functional. And so I would come home and I'd play piano. And not that I knew what I was doing, but I just made sounds. I created patterns that I liked. And I kept like, making these patterns and these sequences until I had like a 15 to 20 minute like song that I'd memorized over the span of like a couple like months and stuff like that, and then I practiced that all the time, and I started learning other chords, and so I was kind of like self-taught. And this is all before I was 12 years old, like I was like 10 and 11, and so like it just kept me company. It's like I'd been playing piano and just kind of jamming by myself, like in a house by myself, and having an instrument there, and then also having the ability to, the space to just kind of create and stumble and make mistakes and then try new stuff and experiment, like that was, it kept me, and I've been an only child. So like my dad got remarried and eventually I had, a half brother and a stepsister. But in those early years, those formative years, like that was what kind of kept me company. And then, and I moved with my mom to Santa Cruz. She unfortunately, we were butting heads, so she kicked me out of the house when I was like 14. And I went back to live with my dad, and I didn't know anybody again when I moved down to live with him. And so I spent again, like I'd picked up bass guitar and I started practicing like 16 hours a day for a summer. So it was like, but I got really good, like really quick, because that's all I did, literally, like nonstop playing. And then I used that as like my identity. So when I started at school, everybody, I was this freshman kid in this high school, but I was a bass player, so I could fit in with the surfers that like metal because I was playing metal. And then I could, I was listening to hip hop too. And I was, so I was like, I could play like the kind of jazz blues stuff and funk, you know what I mean? So I used my instrument and my musicianship to kind of get into these different cliques to work with people that I would have never spoken with anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It definitely
Yeah.
does.
And like, as obviously the better you get on your instrument, like the world kind of opens up. And then specifically when I started kind of working on jazz, like jazz is like, I don't know, it's one of the freest styles of music to play, I think, because it's not like you're in one key, you have to keep changing. And so literally that's kind of how I related everything in my life is, if you stay in one key and everything else changes around you, it's going to sound terrible. So you have to be able to adapt and change keys and kind of change with the chord progressions. And to me, that's exactly the way life is, right? Like things keep changing and you have to adapt to them. So like I use that as my practice of like, not only therapy, but also like learning how to be okay with changes and make music out of chaos, like you said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
And-
thank you for that.
And
amazing.
welcome X-Rated. He's on right now too.
Cheer.
Everyone.
Hi.
Who is it?
Hello to the
Hey,
tribe. Hi.
Hello.
Who is it?
Welcome.
The sheep is here.
Yo.
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 Thanks for joining, X.
I have
Yeah,
to
thanks for
tell you,
joining.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I am so significantly overwhelmed in the best ways possible. You know, they say careful what you wish for because you might get it. So right now, this is release week for me for a song that I did where we've had a historical rivalry in my city of Sacramento, my hometown, and the biggest artist from a rival neighborhood and I did a song together calling for peace in our city between our neighborhoods, and it's been a heavy lift to pull that off, but we were successful, and that'll be released
Mm-hmm.
at 9 p.m. Pacific.
Where
So
where are you releasing that on? Instagram or YouTube?
everywhere,
Everywhere?
everywhere, worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah, biggest song of my entire career.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Awesome.
Congratulations, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
congratulations.
I'm really proud of him. His name is Mozzie. He's young, and there's been a lot of conflict, and he's moving in the right direction. We were inspired by Kendrick Lamar, what they were able to do in Los Angeles, and we just really want these kids to stop hurting each other. We don't need them to roast marshmallows together, but at least just allow each other the space to live, just a ceasefire. And we got great responses. So, yeah, today's a crazy day. Going to be a long night for me, but I'm very happy to be here and to be able to get this energy because coming and being with the tribe really does fill my cup back up as I go back out, try and pour love into my community. So,
Well,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for making the time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you always recharge us, X. So thank
Yeah.
you.
For sure.
Yeah.
We need it too with everything going on.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like real talk, bro. Like that's like exactly because of everything that's going on. Like I need that kind of positivity and hope, man. So I mean, thank you so much for doing everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Who's talking, man? You've been doing so much for so long. I've been inspired by you for years and years and years.
You're both doing
Right
amazing.
on, bro.
Mm-hmm. You want to go,
Yeah.
Nicole?
Yeah, well, thanks, Gabe and X, for joining us tonight. It really means a lot to us. I'm going to start my question off with you, X. It's journey and transformation. Your story from prison to performing on major stages is legendary. What was the hardest mindset shift you had to make on that journey?
Wow. I think the most important thing that I had to do was redefine my perspective of respect, the meaning of respect, the value of respect. I had caused myself and my community great harm as a result of a demanding of respect, of feeling like no one could disrespect me. I was going to get my respect by force, by hook or by crook. And I came to understand that not all respect was valuable and all respect wasn't worth having. And when I wrote my personal constitution, that was one of the things I put on it at the very top. Like, what good is the respect of someone whose respect is worthless? And how can someone who has no purpose in life serve a purpose? So I made sure I kept that as just a mantra for myself so that I could understand that it was okay to allow someone else to be incorrect or in error or simply for me to just not agree with them, even if no matter who was correct. Um, and I think that allowed me to calm down, slow down, stop having a performative experience where, oh, because you did A, B, C, or D, then I have to do this, like, and justify it with all of these different so-called codes and rules and things that I had embraced as factual, important principles to have. And so, yeah, that was probably the first one because it allowed me to be able to do other things and be the person that I became. I think that was a very important decision for me.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing.
Um, just like to follow up on that question, because you mentioned, you said like find purpose too. Like you didn't feel like you were living your purpose at the time, and then you found a different purpose, or like you kind of modified it.
Personally, I hit a point during my sentence. You know, so I'm 17 years old. I'm facing the death penalty. I defeat that. I end up going to trial, get convicted, and I'm sentenced to 31 to life, indeterminate sentence. Um, so I go from 17 to 25, and around that period of time, I started coming to understand that a lot of cultural things that I had adopted, a lot of philosophies that I carried were not my own, but rather had been either taught to me or inherited as a form of generational trauma. So or generational curses rather. And so I had to come to understand that I needed to let that go. And that was where the writing of my personal constitution kind of came into play. And in that period, I started having to decide what I perceived my purpose to be. And this was like during that period of time where Lyle first started talking to me about the fact that I needed to start evaluating, who I was and how I utilized my influence and things like that. So I really did have to start wondering, who I wanted to be and what my purpose was. And I think it just came down to needing to utilize the significant influence that I had in a way that was honorable, that I valued the concept of myself as an honorable person, and I really desired that. I wanted to be a decent person. And so that was the fight for me.
Yep.
Wow. Megan.
Wow. Okay, so I have a question for the both of you. So both of you have faced major personal challenges in life. How do you stay mentally strong and spiritually grounded?
You want to take that one?
Sure. I mean, so like I've had a lot of tools, luckily, like early on to kind of cope with different things. Like music has always been it. Like, I mean, just sitting down and playing bass and like literally, like I crave feeling the strings on my fingers. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm having a hard time, just going to and I would sit there and I just play something, and literally I would try to say how I was feeling through the notes I was choosing, and then I always felt better after that, like because I didn't need to say words. You know what I mean? Like you can create a feeling with chords and sounds, and so like I would try to do that through an instrument. But then meditation has also been like a big part of who I am 100%. Like I try to like influence as many people as I can, because I feel like as a human being on the planet, the whole, like I think I mentioned it before, like in the other, but like the basis of human misery I learned, was like trying to initiate a good feeling or push away a bad feeling, and all we have is these different sensations that are happening all the time. These are some of the things that like I really bonded with Eric on, because he's such a prolific meditator, and so like I've always had found solace in meditating, just literally sitting in silence and just focusing on breathing, on breath, on the moment. And that's got me through so much, because when cause I could see myself, I'm able to, the meditation kind of like is able to pull you out of the vehicle of your body and look at the big picture, like look at the road you're going down, look at the city you're in, and change your trajectory if you need to. You don't have to react. So it's like, when I notice myself getting weird, like I get angry about stupid things, or I find myself irritated and I don't know why, and then have to get to the bottom of it. I'm like, I'm starting to react to the stuff that's impermanent. Like none of this matters. Like what matters is like, the positive stuff, the family I got, the talents that I have, my agency, like everything, my intellect, everything that I've worked for. Like I have all that stuff, and I'm letting this stupid stuff get to me. So I'll sit and meditate and be in the moment again and get pulled back to center. But yeah, I mean, it's always been that, and then in education too, like that became part of my like recovery practice. Once I got sober, it was like, I was sitting around reading all the time anyways. And, people were just like, you should, why don't you go back to school instead of like sitting there and arguing with people on Facebook all day. So, yeah.
I think for me, it's rooted in a profound sense of duty and obligation. I think, especially once I understood while I was incarcerated and being someone who was in a leadership position in groups as a facilitator, I started understanding how much influence I had over people who were younger than me, even my own peers, and what the responsibility was that came with that. And again, wanting to perceive myself as a decent person in spite of the catastrophic experiences that I have been a part of and harm that had occurred in my community. You have to regroup and decide, who are you going to be as a person? Either you wallow in the darkness and embrace it, or you step into the light and redefine yourself and stick to your guns. So I've felt a profound sense of duty to the force, my higher power that I perceive to be at play in my life, that was responsible for either the healing, my perception that I had, people's perception of me, and then ultimately laws changing. I felt like I'd seen miracles, and especially having been freed and now, having my children and a career and having gotten as far as I have, there's just this profound sense of duty to that energy. And because of that, there's an inherent spiritual quality that comes with it. It's always seeking to be in alignment with the divine, with the universe, with God, with that positive energy. And seeking alignment to me is very important. I try to make sure I'm flowing with the current, that I'm moving in the correct direction. And then analyze the resistance. Why am I experiencing difficulty accomplishing whatever this is? And then is it the correct way? Do I need to reevaluate? Always kind of just trying to figure out if I have alignment. So I think duty to that higher power plays a significant role in the decisions I make in the place of spirituality. I think music, lyric writing, what comes out when I'm not paying attention and I'm just writing, allowing myself to just flow. The stuff that comes out is typically in that lane. So my default setting is almost always retrospect, and alignment. And so I just feel like I have to honor it. And that means honoring, I'm doing a virtual town hall with the community, victims in the community in my neighborhood that were harmed by my behaviors, along with men who had been convicted of violence against my neighborhood. All of us together, rivals, former rivals who are now calling for peace in our community. So all of that, I wouldn't do any of that if I didn't feel this profound sense of duty to that force that parted that Red Sea for me and ultimately resulted in me being free. I think, not to jump to them, but I think Lyle and Eric, it's a statement toward them as well, that all of these miracles we've seen them experience are why they will feel this exact sense of profound duty that I'm talking about. Because you're like Moses coming off Mount Sinai with your hair blown back, and you're bronzed from the light, and you're just shocked, like, I can't believe what I just experienced, and you're just never going to be the same. you'll never be the same after that. And so you these oh, this can't possibly go that way, and then the decision works in its miraculous outcome, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then you're free. There's significant amount of duty that comes with that, and a man that fails to honor it, in my opinion, is going to have a very dark mental health experience. The crisis, an existential crisis, would result in a failure to honor that, because there's a healthy fear, a concern for if my mother said the worst thing you could do is ask God to pay attention to you because he might do it. And I think it goes back to be it the universe, be it the whatever it is clearly active in my life. So there's this sense of, even alone, an awareness that you are still in the test, you're still in the duty, you're still in an obligation, you still have to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, even alone. And so I think it's a sense of duty, a sense of fear, is that of a healthy fear, concern. There's a concern and awareness of that energy that I believe needs to be honored. I don't want to find out what would happen if we failed to do it. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, and just to touch on that, like, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, bro. Like, and it's just it's one of these things, and I can see it in people sometimes. It's like this lack of connection, right? And you remember, like, I think I was mentioning it last live session where, Neil deGrasse Tyson says, that humans are connected to each other biologically, they're connected to the earth chemically, and then they're connected to the universe atomically, right? So, because of our limited senses, like, we don't notice this. We don't, like, it's hard for us to think outside of our own little minds, but literally we are connected to everything at all times. So, like, when you talk about this profound sense of like duty, it's the real, to me, it's like like, I feel that too, like, just this, but it's almost so, it's something like a honorable. You want to walk honorably with it because you know that every action you do, everything you do is going to have a repercussion, and it's not just going to be affecting you, it's going to be affecting everybody, everywhere, at all times. And specifically when it comes to, like, incarceration and stuff like that too, or just like resources for people so they don't end up locked up. It's like, I feel like if people knew that it behooves us to take care of each other, you know what I mean? Like, just the world would, it sounds cheesy, but the world would be a better place if we actually acted like every decision we made is going to affect everybody at all times. Because at the end of the day, it does, right? Like, in some way, shape, or form, all the people that are incarcerated right now throughout the United States and California, 92,000, $120,000 per person per year, taxpayer. It's like everything's affecting everything, and it's like the reality and the realization is like it's so deep, bro. I mean, you hit it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's another way for me and people that I see who have the glow. I don't think there's another way to live. I think it's a life of service, and the step 11, step 12, a life of service is pretty much the only way to go. When I wasn't personally living a life of service, I definitely was lost. Still trying to figure it out, living to service my ego, because you're gonna serve something, and so it's like I'm living basically in service of my ego, and to maintain the bubble of illusion that I could live in of my own self-importance. And that's the only thing I live in service to, is maintaining the perception of my own self-worth. Whereas a life of service outside of oneself, outside of one's ego, results in living a life, a legitimate service of rewards, interacting with people, and discovering the human experience, experiencing the human experience. And I think that's the greatest antidote to that existential crisis, is to just live a life of service. I think that's where we discover the purpose of existence, period, not just for me as an individual, but I believe that that's the purpose for existence, period, is to live a life of service. A lot of us do it as parents for our children. Sometimes it can be a thankless job. And then it has these beautiful moments of just love and light and goodness, and it just makes up for all the moments that aren't at that level. And so I think personally, in my review of my life experience, that being of service is the greatest thing that a human being can do because it's inherently a love-based action. And so that's where I'm at with you. I want to live a life of service and ultimately be living a life of love as a result of that.
Wow.
Wow, beautifully said. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Beautifully said. And I have a question for the both of you. What brought the two of you together creatively, and what do you admire most about each other's artistry?
You first, brother.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, like honestly, like it's so like COVID was such a weird thing. It's like those years of like 2020 through like 22 are like such a like they blurred so much. It's like I'm trying to remember what happened before post pre-COVID, you know. But I remember I first started working at Donovan doing jail guitar doors, and I got to go into the what they called the Oars room, which was like the where I think that was and that was what the studio was. The guy because there was a leadership committee. X can talk about that because he knows much more about that. Um, yeah, there was like a body of leadership for Equiard at that time at like 2018 through I think 2021 21 or something like that. And went and I got to hear California Dreamin' lyrics, just the lyrics and the beat for the first time, and before X was released, and I mean it just blew my mind. You know, it's like I mean I've always known his lyricism is just off the chain, and like but to see it like and to hear how articulate and perfect it is performed every single time, like it's just like who does that? Like only it's just crazy. Like so I was like very honored to be able to be just in the same room and what you know, of course, as a musician, I'm like, okay, we got to start working on some stuff together, you know. And then I think at that time, X was he knew he had an opportunity to get out, so I was like, as soon as you get out, bro, like let's start building, you know. But he was, you know, X was always involved with like putting on events on the yard. There was a and the Stop the Violence event too. Like I remember going to that and like supporting the crew over there. Um, and so and then just you know, I mean, honestly, like in terms of what you know what I value is the way X like you turned your life around 100%. Like when I went to go see you live at Soma in San Diego, you know, about a year or two after you think you've been out and you were already touring with Tech, and then you got executed by CDCR on stage. It was so heavy and the lyrics were so brutal, and then like you turn into another person and it came out, and then you like you talk to the audience. It was almost like a seeing a you know professor give a lecture to a class of university students about everybody that's still inside. Like you didn't forget about anybody that's still in there, dude. And that makes me like emotional thinking about it, you know, because it's like you know they're still there, and like you said, that burden, that weight of like having to be, you know, you want to live honorably because there's still people in there that you know deserve to get out. And so it's not only the music that I'm blown away by, and the you know the discography, the catalog of music, album after album from prison, like X pioneered that stuff, and then of course just the lyrics, like the original criminal justice scholar giving us the actual lessons from inside a prison cell. Like that shit's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, and like you know, Immortal Technique is another one of the guys too. I remember, I think I was mentioning last live, where I would listen to every single verse, and then I'd have to go research what he said to be like, wait, I don't know what he's talking about. Like I need to learn. And then every single line, similar with you know X is the same way. Is like every single line you can do, like you can write a whole research paper on just like one line of one of his rhymes. You know what I mean? Because it's so deep and there's so many different levels to it. So is that kind of stuff, and then also yeah, just being real, and then staying humble, and then and always being just a homie, man. Like it's like people blow up, you know, and like you could have easily forgotten everybody, but you didn't. Like you're still down to earth, and you're still down to hang out, and you're just full of love, you know. So I can't thank you enough, bro. Like even at the hearing too, I know we were just like a mess over at the hearing. But that was one of the you know the things that I feel like is really important, is being able to bond through those times and seeing history be made. You know what I mean? To get our boys out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Wow.
Amen.
Wow. I think the thing for me with you was that your sincerity. I respected your talent, your history, your pedigree within music, the people you've been embraced by, who I also respect independent of you. So for me to know that they had respected you at that level, to have embraced you in that way was that meant a lot to me. But it was also you were doing the thing that I just got you talking about in terms of service. You were there as an act of service. That's not always the most thankful job. You under suspicion. You aren't always treated the best by staff. You aren't one of them, aren't one of us, but you're there and doing something you love and connecting with other people who actually love that same thing, making music, communicating through music, attempting to learn and get better. And you just were service in action. I just had so much respect for that. And getting to know you the way I did, and then you coming to the facility and playing on some of my songs. No one's ever even heard them. They're part of the documentary and the soundtrack to my book and the documentary. So I have even music that we got to do together that means so much to me that I've just been sitting on and perfecting for my biggest project in my life. And I just love that you were able to contribute to that, and because of the love and the way we met. And I think that energy being in the music is something that people will be able to feel, even without being told that it exists. The best music comes when people care, when it's a real thing. And that's the other thing, your talent with making real music, but asking me to be a feature on a project, to be able to write something and record it at my own facility. This was beautiful. And your responses to my shows and the hearing, we almost have a trauma bond, but not in a negative way.
Yeah.
It's almost like defeating trauma bonds.
Yeah. No, totally. That's it. It's like, holy shit. Like it's it. Like the history. Like they're gonna be out.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. Defeating trauma bonds.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because, we talk about service. The two of you being on this live is a service for the community, for the Menendez advocate community.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been friends for years, and you said you collaborated on the inside. Have you collaborated on the outside?
Well, that's what we actually did collaborate on the outside. I had the honor, Gabe brought a song to my facility, to my studio that I had built in Las Vegas. And we were able to record there. I wrote it right there on the spot, recorded it, got it done, and he played on it. We have another featured artist. And it's just a beautiful demonstration of our capability. It's just a real thing. So yeah, that actually occurred. We didn't do anything while I was in there. I just showed him things that I was working on,
Okay.
and I was aware of, things he was working on. And when I came home, we were able to actually get together and do several songs. So I one for him, and then he played bass on about 4 for me.
Wow, great.
Yep, and it's not over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I mean, it's gonna keep going. That's what I was telling. Actually, I told Lyle that we're starting a band.
I thought you were going to recreate Milli Vanilli. That's what I said last time.
Geez. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Okay.
It's so funny.
Maybe.
And like, it's funny that you even mentioned that too, because even they joke about that stuff. I asked Eric, I'm like, dude, I'm playing at your graduation. Like, what songs do you want to hear? And like, he's like, I don't know, Milli Vanilli. And I'm like, dude, fuck, really?
That's funny.
At least they have a sense of humor.
Right.
No, totally.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we call being with the tribe an act of service. I think it's that selflessness I talk about. Just even this fast. Like I had a very interesting day. It was action packed, a lot going on. It's not over. Um, I'll be at it until 1, 2 in the morning today, um, and then have to get up at 5 or 6 anyway, and be at it tomorrow. Press releases, PR meetings, everything, and community meetings today. Rival gang discussions, and like talk about the most ironic stuff, like all the love that's coming from the community, where people who could hate me and have been just loving me up. The Meadowview Bloods speaking with their leadership and the way that they view my purpose and the importance of it to the overall community, the encouragement that I've been getting from people who would have been mortal enemies of mine at one point in time. Uh, I think at one point we had a phone call with 4 lifers on there, probably a total of 150 years served incarcerated between the 4 of us, all on the phone at the same time. All have been incarcerated for harming each other's. 3 of us were incarcerated for harming each other's neighborhoods, harming each other's quote unquote homeboys. And man, the love, the intent coming from them and their sense of awareness of what they perceive my purpose to be, and how, man, it's a really heavy thing. And so coming to the tribe is like a NASCAR pit stop to me. I get my windows wiped, I get my fuel wiped, and it's like I'm back on the track. Like, here we go, and I'm re-energized. So I don't know if it's a service from me to the tribe or a service from the tribe to me. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a cyclical relationship that is beautiful. I'm just happy to be a part of it. I feel very inspired and as if I'm existing within my purpose anytime that I interact with our tribe, because it's like the reminder of how far I came from. Like Gabe says, I could have forgotten about everybody. uh, I had that conversation with some from my hometown. It's like, why do you care so much? And I'm like, man, like you could have just never looked back. You're gone, like you're gone. And I'm like, what kind of life would I have had if I did that? What man, the crisis that would have resulted in from that? Because I mean, it's a crisis anyway. Just even trying to find your place in the world and dealing with the time dysmorphia and the placement dysmorphia, um, existing without this particular tribe would be so weird. I could be so disconnected from my origins, like 17-year-old kid, 26 and a half years incarcerated, as if that just wasn't real. 26 years of my life that I just didn't experience. I'm supposed to, like, what kind of trauma? Talk about a ticking time bomb. Like, at some point, that got to be addressed. And to just walk away from it like it never existed would have manifested itself in a way that would have been unequivocally unhealthy. And so I think staying attached to being of service, having to advocate for the brothers, has given me a sense of continuity that, like, I'm still me. That I remember telling you, if I woke up in a cell tomorrow, I would literally just make a cup of coffee and go tell Lyle and Eric about the crazy dream I had. I wouldn't second guess it at all. Like, I had more mornings waking up that way than I have had waking up free. Very weird life. These 2 beautiful little boys calling me dad. Like, it's such a weird, surreal experience. So if I'm not attached to the tribe and therefore still attached to being of service to my community, specifically when I say my community, I have these two communities. I have the community that I harmed that resulted in me being placed in a place that became my new community. And then I've been re-transplanted to my other community. And now I still have to be of service to my formerly incarcerated and currently incarcerated brothers and sisters that I have to speak up for. So it would be so difficult to navigate that if I had to pretend like my life started when I was born, and then everything from 17 through my release from prison was a dream. And then my life started on September 14th of 2018, and everything before that just didn't happen. 'Cause I still like look at how far I came, and sometimes it can get hard to relate to my incarcerated self. And then my incarcerated self finds it hard to relate to my free self. It's so far removed. And so, I mean, I had a point where I had been incarcerated longer than I had been alive unincarcerated. So, you know,
Wow.
I had 17 years free, and I'm just now about to hit 7 years free.
Wow.
Wow.
So I got 24 years of life free, and I did 26 and a half years incarcerated. So I'm still at a deficit, and that's counting childhood, not even as an adult. Like I've had 7 years of adulthood in September out of 50 years of life. So talk about dysmorphia. Talk about dysmorphia. Like having, it's a spooky thing. So like this does so much for me. You just have no idea. It's an anchor. Advocating for Lyle and Eric is a very real thing. Staying connected to what that meant for my life and what they did for me, how much they mean to me. Dave and him being my brother in that fight, as well as our own personal relationship separate from that, is an anchor. You know, they say you take mushrooms, you got to have an anchor. Like, what's your anchor? What keeps you grounded? I think this really does keep me attached to, you know, in meditation, you take your shoes off and kind of get back to the earth, like Gabe was saying about, you know, syntax and just being everything, being connected, get my feet on the ground. I feel like that's what this does for me. Interacting with the tribe kind of allows me to ground myself, anchor myself back and like, okay, because that's who I am. This is who I am. And the promises I made, that sense of wanting to be that honorable person, all of it is rooted still in that guy that decided that resulted in me being here right now in these moments. So to abandon him and therefore abandoning you, boy, oh boy, existential crisis incoming.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with that.
Well, we're grateful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you guys get us like pumped up too about advocating for them. So, Megan?
Yep. So my next question is, what does freedom mean to you both now, personally and creatively?
I think I remember when I first got I was talking to Tech Nine, and he says, who is a phenomenal big brother. Like, I love this dude. He, anything that you can imagine, tell my team and we'll make it happen. Tell him. And he was like challenging me to think outside of the box, expand, and come up with just crazy ideas. And, I don't think while I was incarcerated, I believe that I had a theoretical perspective on what I was going to experience if I was free, you know, how I would be creative. But in the literal experience, it's been awesome to walk in with our team, Cameron Logan Cox, Joe, Kobe, Stimple, those guys in our film crew, our graphic designers. Such a rewarding experience. The engineers, the producers, to collaborate with them to create something that would be visually stunning and uh, a musical experience for the listener that I could be proud of and that they could be wowed by. And just like I tried to watch Thriller with my 2.5-year-old and my 1-year-old. It was not a good idea. Michael Jackson starts turning into a werewolf. And I always say, it's scary. He doesn't exhibit fear. He just announces, "Hey, that's scary." I'm like, yeah, I think I'll put Spidey back on. But like watching Michael Jackson morph into a werewolf in the Thriller video with my kids in my house, it just like I'm just looking at the opportunities to do crazy. So like Damnation we just did where I personified genocide in order to show gang members exactly what we were doing. So it was myself hunting myself and then myself going to purgatory attempting to free myself and was being judged by myself. And then Tech Nine as the angel of death ushering me to the crossroads. Like you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to have a negative experience with this particular behavior, or you have to go back and change your life. And so this decision that I had to make, like, okay, I go back, I change my life. And like we really put that off. Got like 1.1 million views in a week. And it was just a very great experience writing that, it with the team, how much faith they had in the vision, how much attention to detail. And so, yeah, I just, that is awesome. It's the politics, the movie, that could be a lot, but getting out there with the team and just creating, no executive staff there, just the creators trying to pull off an idea. It's a very rewarding thing. Very rewarding. And for it to land, and then you see the people, wow, he's hunting himself and we're hunting ourselves. Don't you see he's saying and feeling ourselves? It's like, for it to land, it's just over with.
Okay.
That's my favorite part right now.
Wow.
Gabe, you want to answer the same?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm in like this weird kind of space right now because I'm always been like I'm in between academic world and then I'm still playing gigs on the weekends and then I'm working on like my own original music. But it's interesting. Like last week, or actually this week, it was the last it was the last class of a 12-week cohort with Joe Guitar Doors, and I was telling them, and I'm like, some of the best original music that I work on is with the guys in prison, because I don't know if I described what we do with Joe Guitar Doors like in the last live, but everybody gets a journal and we give them topics to kind of guide them through their lives. So the first week we talk about childhood, and everybody writes about their childhood, whether it's good or whether it's bad, whatever that word even like summons in their psyche, they write it down. And then we go around and everybody reads what they wrote, and then we'll grab one line from everybody's journal writings, we'll put it up on the board, and then we form songs out of all of their words. So it's completely collaborative, and to me, that's one of the most freeing things I think for myself and for them, because I have so much in common with them. Obviously, like growing up in an alcoholic household, and then like so many different, just trauma growing up and different things. But I can relate to them in different ways. But we all relate to each other. We all throw it up on the board and we make these songs out of it, and then it's like complete creation from absolutely nothing, just ideas from multiple people. and to see that come together in a complete song by the end of a 2 hour period, like that blows my mind, and that makes me feel like literally like it's like a euphoria every single time I walk out of a class on a different yard, because we created something that didn't previously exist. It was a complete collaboration of everybody that was there, their minds, guys that never thought in a million years they could even write like anything. And then they're singing too, like they've never tried singing before. Guys are singing, and there's this thing that like I'm studying that your mind does. Musicologists study this too. When you're synchronized with a group of people, whether it's a choir, a band, or you're on stage rapping or something, and you're synchronizing lyrics, your brain does this thing where it stops separating you from somebody else. It's called self-other blurring, where you stop looking at different people. Like if you're performing with somebody, they're actually part of you, and you're part of a bigger whole. And your brain does that. And so when we're doing these songs with Joe Guitar Doors, it's like everybody at the end of the class too always says, "I forgot I was in prison. I forgot that I was even like locked up, like that I'm in confined." And it's for those moments of playing those songs, and they hear their own words coming out of somebody else's mouth, and they created something that didn't previously exist, and it's cool, it's catchy, it's good, like it's badass. Like then it takes them to a different place, And so for me, like the original music I'm creating right now has to do with that. I'm still, of course, want to work on my own stuff, but I haven't had a chance because I had a pesky grad school, and like I told you guys, I got a job teaching for Cal State Fullerton, so I'm like putting together a curriculum for that. But that's another one of those things, like X was talking about, being of service, and now with my life experience and being incarcerated briefly, just in county jail, I got lucky, just in wino time. Like being able to kind of impart knowledge and choose the what kind of literature I want students that are just coming up and trying to learn about the criminal justice system, like just figure out what they want to understand. And I have a kind of a sway. I have a influence over them to kind of look at things critically and look at things in a different way than possibly somebody else would that doesn't have any of this experience, that doesn't work in prison, that hasn't been incarcerated, that isn't in recovery. You know what I mean? So all these things, and also just like speaking things into existence, I feel like has been freedom.
Yeah.
It's been blowing me away how when I just say things and I keep believing it, it keeps happening. It's so crazy. Kind of like what X was saying, like with tech, like whatever you can imagine, like it's whatever you can imagine will make it happen. And so I've just been trying to imagine crazy stuff, and it's been happening. It takes time, and you got to be focused, and you have to. And I've also noticed that like being honest, like if I'm honest with everybody, and then it's easier to get things done. And I mean that specifically with like, say like the administration of Donovan. It's like sitting down there face to face with the associate warden, with the warden, with the public information officer, with the mental health director, and just being like, we need to help these people. This is how I think we should do it. I've created this way to help these guys out. What do you think? How can we collaborate? Like, if you show them honesty and you're completely sincere and in your convictions, like, pretty much anything could happen. So I don't know. I think that's been my freedom lately is being able to try to like make things happen that I didn't think were previously possible. And being of service, and then also being able to create this music with people that are incarcerated and make them feel like they're free. I mean, even if they aren't,
That video you posted was beautiful, of them singing their songs and writing on Instagram.
Yes. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, that song turned out great too. Like the lyrics. Yeah, those lyrics were so heavy. That was a really good one.
Do you post them anywhere?
Yes, they're going to be on SoundCloud. I put everything, I try to mix them as well as I can because it's like just one little recorder. Luckily, Joe Guitar, like we're the first ones at Donovan to be able to record and put stuff up. So, like in all, Joe Guitar Doors is in 150 institutions throughout the United States. So it's like we're the first ones to be able to record and just consistently put stuff up. So I'll probably get to that in the next like couple weeks or something like that. But yeah, there's a SoundCloud that has multiple yards, multiple songs, all the lyrics, the chords, everything.
Okay. Let me know, and then I'll post about that.
Oh, dope. Cool.
Share it. Yeah.
Yeah, we all will.
And I bet they look forward to Wednesdays.
Yeah, yeah, they do, and
Yeah.
it's funny too because when the yards go down, like we still, when they say that there's no programming, I still show up with Rob Bird, this other my co-facilitator, and we go get them. Like literally, we'll go to that each housing unit with the roster and pull everybody out of their cells and go to and bring them to class. So and it's funny because the last yard we were on, the guy said. They said, the administration said there's no programming at all today, but we knew that you guys were going to come. We're like, yeah, right. They trust and they look forward to it and they believe. We've developed that trust and that camaraderie and that where they know that we're going to do whatever we can to get them out and get them what they need, which is great. That's the first thing I tell them the first week of class too, is that I know what it felt like when I was locked up and it just over the span of just even 2 weeks, and I felt like people were forgetting about me and visits stopped and people thought you thought would come visit you or write you letters, never wrote anything. And so the first thing I tell everybody is, your lives matter. We're thinking about you. You have a purpose. You have a reason. Don't ever get down on yourself. Don't believe what they say. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Right.
So just to try to let them understand that I really care. Like it matters to me. And so try to show them through actions too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
That is great.
yeah, it really is.
Cool.
Yeah. So, both of you speak to issues of justice, reform, and personal growth. What roles does music play in activism today? Hi, can you guys?
Question?
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, want to hit that one?
Yeah, I need the question one more time, please.
Sure, sure. Sorry about that. Both of you speak to issues of justice, reform, and personal growth. What role does music play in activism today?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good question.
I think the role that music has played in activism, as a student of music, um, so I know in the African American experience, they actually used song to communicate even with the Underground Railroad. They used music, they used songs to contain history, clearly a form of protest. Then, I mean, we can get into Dylan, we can get into Marley, we can get, I mean, the list is endless. So being aware of how music has been utilized, I believe creates this sense of, for me, of duty as well. My album, I don't know why anybody would think it wouldn't be, but I guess it's not letting too much of a cat out of the bag. But like my album is like 45% fight music. Yeah, no irony with the 45. It's or the 47. It's fight music. I got a lot of fight music, protest music, upliftment music, stand up to the government music, fight for the people who can't speak up for themselves, speaking up for the children. I got a pretty powerful moment in there where having a conversation with God about why should I change my life. It was a moment of around 2002, 2003, where I was really having these debates internally. I actually wrote that thing and recorded it at Strangeland. Ironic, but yeah, that's that question. What's the line? It says, there's something odd about living with a heart from the deep and the deep. It seems like a dream. I wonder if I'm even awake. It seems like a scheme. You want me to think you love me still when I bang Jack and feel. How could your love be real? I want to trust you, but I cannot. When you would let an innocent man die and kids be molested, I want to repent, but man, I'd rather live with a death wish. reckless, praying for my soul until I'm breathless and unforgiving. And it's like, it ends with this decision to step into my light and my purpose. But that portion of questioning is a very powerful moment, I believe. You know, it's a legitimate question. Why do these things happen? Why? And so, I mean, even Silver the Father has a song for Loud. I think, speaking up for victims of abuse, or specifically for them, for anybody who can relate, I, I think music without that is, you know,
Hmm.
it's irrelevant. But the artist, you know, there's a place for fun, there's a place for mindless music in the world, but for me, the overwhelming purpose of it to say something whether it's being heard, purposeful.
Yeah.
So even if I make a think a party song like California Dreaming is David song, the meaning of that song is concealed by the party vibe. It sounds like an up-tempo party song, but if you pick the lyrics apart, it's a societal statement. It's an observation hidden inside of what sounds like a party song. And so, yeah, I think an artist has a responsibility there. And I think if they live long enough, they're going to land there. And if they don't, it's a direct result of a decision to be a commercial vulture. I don't know if a person would decide to be vanilla for an entire career and never take a stand on anything. To me, it's a, that's a life decision to make, and it's you can see it in those people who make those decisions. The longer they live, the worse they look, the worse they seem to feel, because they're trying to seem like the reality that they see with their own eyes, which isn't true. And that's a heavy thing to do. So they end up self-medicating and passing out in the existential crisis again. And so for me, music is significantly powerful music for people who maybe don't have the words for themselves. Look at Michael
Um,
Jackson, Jackson 5 and ABC said, what I really care about it. Like, that's where he landed. That's where he landed. This guy got billions of dollars, owns the Beatles catalog, and he's like, they don't really care about it. And I think that's just kind of what you gotta do.
It's kind of hard to hear what you're saying, bro. Like, it sound like you're fading a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's better. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
perfect.
Much better.
way better.
Yeah.
It started fading for a while, a little bit.
Nice. Okay. There we go.
Do you want to answer the same question, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, like X was saying, I would say, shit, like the black experience, African American experience in the United States is like the literally the catalyst for, I feel like, all music, all protest music in the United States. Period. Whether you're talking about blues, and then you talk about jazz, like Charlie Parker, bebop, like Miles Davis, John Coltrane, all those guys. Like that was basically rebelling against big bands back in the day. Like they literally would play small clubs on purpose so that nobody could dance because they wanted people to pay attention to them. Because it was like they were doing the craziest stuff. They literally opened a church for John Coltrane in San Francisco because his brain was influenced music so much. And then of course hip hop, right? Like hip hop is like with the original protest music in the 70s. I mean, I actually did this random show one time, this radio show uh, about revolutionary music, and so I was like, I tried to hit everything too. Even during the Russian Revolution, there was composers that were making these epic sagas that like Stalin was like making illegal because he like it made it sound too sad. He wanted everybody to be happy, and like it's crazy. People would purposely make that kind of stuff too, but music is one of the only things I think that can reach people and kind of teach them stuff subtly without them knowing it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, some people like you have all these Rage Against the Machine, like conservatives that are pissed off about Rage Against the Machine lyrics, and it's like, what do you think they're talking about? That kind of weird shit. So it's like people kind of take lyrics and kind of make them, fit whatever narrative that they want, But I mean, I've been thinking about just being in that academic world too. Is that all the research that we're doing, because we sit there with these different professors and scholars talking about what we're researching and how important it is to explain the findings we have to people in general. Like we don't who cares about being in some ivory tower and talking to each other? Like it's so stupid. Like what sit here and talk to other professors about what what I mean when like the reality is the world needs to know about what we're discovering and what new findings we're because the whole point is knowledge expansion, right? Knowledge production. That's what you do when you're doing research and stuff. But nobody's hearing it. Nobody's hearing what needs the people that need to hear it the most aren't hearing it. So I was considering for every paper that I write too is making an album or a couple songs that are based off of the paper, so that if you like the lyrics, if you're captured by the lyrics and the melody and stuff, you're gonna listen to it, and then it'll have a citation to the paper that it's about. You know what I mean? So that people maybe will be interested and read hey, this is what I discovered. Music can create this kind of connection. Explaining what I do with Jail Guitar Doors, right?
Yeah.
Those are the ways to kind of rehabilitate people in some ways, so they feel like they're connected to something, so they feel a camaraderie, so they find humanity in each other. These are the kinds of things that people need to know about. And then also just teaching history, you have enough, you write a paper about that, you talk about what you're learning here, and the lineage of certain things, you can explain that. So I was thinking about, using some of my actually academic papers to be for the basis of music. But always, I don't know, the latest stuff that I've been releasing lately is been based off of pretty much my studies. But I always want to make it something that's human. It's not necessarily political, because politics change and politicians change, but the human experience, what does it feel like? What are we all going through? What are we really worried about? That one song Levels that you guys have been playing sometimes is it's literally taken from a Malcolm X quote. Malcolm X said, and I feel it's timely too, because he said basically to meet people where they're at, because he said there was a time when you didn't know what you currently know now, so give people grace, and so that whole song is about that, is about giving people grace, and because you have to remember where you came from. There was a time when you didn't know what you know now, and people have to grow, right? And so that's called levels. You reach these different levels of understanding and knowing, but you have to meet people where they're at, instead of trying to push people away just because they don't have the same experience as you.
Yeah.
And so, there's always room. Music's gonna. I think it's always going to be one of the forefront of social change and commentary, and it's always interesting to see bands, musical artists come out and tell which politicians not to use their shit.
Yeah.
Don't use any of my stuff, we're gonna sue you. Don't use-
That happened a lot this last time.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
If you could send one message to young people who feel stuck or lost, what do you think it'd be? I know that's a tough one. One message. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what I would send. I think I would want to tell them to be kind to themselves. Everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, totally.
You got to keep going. I wrote a letter to myself where I had this moment, and I just sat down and wrote a post to myself from my childhood. I wonder where it is, but I just talked about the fact that give yourself some grace. You're gonna have to save yourself, but everything is gonna be okay. You know, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. And
Yeah.
I think that's a very important thing because the feeling, my children are reminding me like how much we forget as adults
Mm.
what it meant to be a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I really try to respect their autonomy, their decision making, give them choices, options, and even some of the pushback, the defiance, examining where it comes from. Are you correct? Sometimes they're trying to tell me something like, oh, you're saying no to that because you're experiencing discomfort because of this. Like, oh, okay. So there's a reason for it. But I think we just can forget what it's like to have been a child and the hopes and the feeling and the fear and the uncertainty, the lack of control, but also the freedom and the joy that came with that too, and
Mm-hmm.
how to strike a balance. So I would reassure the children that you get through the days, don't give up. You get through the days, and then things improve. Your ability to do for yourself, you'll reach a point where you can do for yourself. And I would encourage them to go that way and to embrace the experience of being children, to be okay with it, because it's going to go so fast. Everybody wants to move so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Days are so fast for me. Hours, I can blink, I can lose an hour, and then my day is shot. It just blows my day out of the water. I would be very deliberate with my time because it's moving so fast. And I think that's something that I would want them to understand, that they can to embrace this part of the freedom and not having that particular portion of speed and everything that comes with it. That life experience was worth living as well, is worth living.
Mm. That's
Thank you.
beautiful. Yeah, no, I second that 100%. That's one of those things. I mean, if I could just add on to that, like what I think I would add would be, from my own personal experience too, is that, every feeling is impermanent, so you can't hold on to it, which is okay. It's more that gives you freedom because you're free to feel all these different things and you can react to them, but just realize that it's not going to last forever. All the good is not going to last forever, and all the bad is not going to last forever. Therefore, it's best not to make any rash decisions when you're very, very highly emotions are heightened in any way. Um, I have to tell myself that like regularly still. And I think that would have saved me a lot. At least that insight would have helped me a lot when I was a kid. Just not to make rash decisions when I'm emotional, because it's like not being able to pull yourself out of the vehicle of your body and just go like ram your feet are on the gas going 100 miles per hour into a brick wall. I wish I would have known I could take my foot off the gas and just kind of chill out for a second. Um, that would have helped. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then the humility too is just appreciating it, like understanding the failures are just as important as those successes. Like it's okay to fail. Like you're not a failure. It's okay if you didn't meet your goal because you needed to learn that. Kind of like we were talking about the thing in the last live. It's like you don't need to know anything. You find out what you need to know when you need to know it, and that'll come in time.
Mm-hmm.
But you find that out as you go, and it's like the companionship on the way. Even if you're a pirate and you're going to go destroy and pillage, it's the pirates you meet on the way.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Not the pirates. No, but it really is. It's a journey because I mean, like I keep these goals that I have, like doing this PhD program that I'm in right now. It's a long, long process, 6-7 years of just studying and research and new milestones and new goals every year. And it's like it felt like when I first started, it felt completely overwhelming. To think about like, holy shit, how am I going to do all this? Like, I wasn't the person to do it. That's why I couldn't even fathom doing it, you know. But throughout the process of going through all the classes, all the milestones, I became the person to be able to accomplish it. And that's like basically with every goal in your life, you know, it's like you're not there yet, but um, you know, like you're gonna have to fall a couple times, but it's like X said, it's there's a trying to find peace in that and trying to find happiness and gratitude and humility. Um, it's just as good as the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like the failures are just as good as the successes. Um, and to have patience, like patience is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we learn from our failures.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
It's how we grow.
Yeah, I think that's our biggest lesson, our biggest teacher,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah, finding the grace in a failure is a big deal.
Yes.
10,000 light bulbs. They said Thomas Edison, they asked him why, he kept going, and he said, I learned 9,999 ways
Yes.
how not to make a light bulb.
Yes.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
So I found this, it's from June 5th of 2023. So I'm going to have to go. I have to do some promo stuff. We got an hour and a half this song will be released, so I'm gonna have to get prepared for that. But this is what it says. Dear X-Rated, you are a 16-year-old child who is writing your first album. You are living a very fast, dangerous life with no guidance. I am 40 years old and I just released A Prayer in Hell to explain the journey you are about to embark on to a community that will watch you grow up before their eyes. I want you to know that I am empathetic to you. You are going to have one of the most challenging experiences ever. It's going to take some time, but everything will be okay. I will be there for you. I will adopt you, and you will be my child. I will raise you myself. Although you don't know it yet, I love you. You may not agree with all of my decisions, and some of them will cost you things that you think matter right now. But I am going to save your life, and I don't care who dislikes it, even if it's you. Keep going. Don't give up. You got this. Love always. Honore. So, Honore writing to X-Rated.
Wow.
That
Wow.
was beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And true.
Yeah.
And true.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of worked out that way.
Beautiful.
So,
Good.
yeah,
Well, thank
my
you so
tribe,
much.
I am going to go ahead and get plugged in, get on this computer. I'm going to go check on the family before I do that and interact with them briefly. But yeah, I got a long night ahead of me to promote Still Outside with Mozzie and, you know, continue to advocate for peace in our community and inspire kids like that guy I just wrote that letter to, to encourage them and remind them that, hey, you know, if we can get this far from where we started and they haven't already made the mistakes we made, then they got a real good shot.
Yeah.
Maybe not land where I landed, but, you know, find their place of service and have a very good life for themselves. And I think there's beauty in that, discovering their purpose. So that's what I'm doing tonight. We're going to encourage the community to knock it off with the genocidal tendencies.
Dude, well, thank you to bro. I just want to say thank you for bringing the best out of everybody. Like honestly, because that's a feat, it's a talent, and not everybody can do it. But like
Always.
just you being around and being who you are, like you bring the best out of people, and it's like that's like a superpower. You're an X-Men. You're X-rated the X-Man.
They call me, my fan group calls me Professor X.
Yeah,
And they call themselves the X-Men. They literally
That's it.
do.
Aw.
That's so funny.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
joining
much.
us,
Thank you
and good
so
luck with
much
everything.
for everything.
Thank you, X.
We'll be
Thank you,
listening
Al.
later. We'll be
I
listening at 9
love you
o'clock.
all. Thank you so much.
All right. We love
We'll
you.
be
Have a
waiting
good
for
night.
it.
Peace.
Good luck
Peace,
with
bro.
the song.
Thank you.
Let me. How do? Oh, okay, he knew how to do it. I'm all where's the button?
I always do the same thing. How do I get out?
Yeah.
I can't see even though I have my glasses on.
That letter was inspiring. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
Beautiful.
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 Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Um,
heavy.
Yes.
yes.
Nicole, I think Regina wants to jump down to the Justice,
Yep.
the Menendez.
Yeah, the Menendez brothers
Yep.
questions.
Yeah.
I think you're up
Yeah.
first.
Yes, yes. Well, Gabe, we just want to know, have you talked to Lyle and Eric, and how are they doing?
I haven't talked to Eric. You know, he's unfortunately still at the hospital, and you know, I've been watching the media too. Like they're pretty updated on everything that's going on with him. So he's got to have another surgery. So he wasn't there when I saw him, but I did get to sit with Eric, Lyle for a little bit, and he was good. He was in good spirits. You know, just bummed about like that Eric got to deal with this, especially now. You know, right before his parole hearing. But overall, I think the demeanor is they're still they're hopeful. There's just they have a lot of support for every person that's a naysayer. There's like two people that are like they should be released.
Yeah.
And then also just because of the high profile notoriety of who they are. Obviously, of course, they got the ear of. I mean, the fact that like it almost played perfectly for them in terms of like Donald Trump calling out Rosie O'Donnell, who's really good friends with Lyle. So it's like constantly being in the spotlight. Whether it's good or bad. It's like whether you like those people or not. It's like they're culturally relevant right now, and that just means that more people are going to be paying attention to what's happening with them, which is good. I think it's good overall. And so. So he was pretty hopeful when I saw him. He was fine, like every time I see him, he's kind of just chilling, working on stuff at the Green Space office on his parole packet and stuff like that. Oh, he's going to be teaching his class. He's actually he created a whole curriculum that's going to be copywritten and patented throughout CDCR, and so he's going to be teaching like his first class there on this specific curriculum July 30th. So I was going to stop in and say hi to them. Yeah, it's cool. They're going to do the visiting. So I was going to go stop by and, he's got some other friends and stuff that are going to come support too. So I'm actually going to be starting my first Joe Guitardors cohort of the new cohort on that day. So I'm going to stop in before and say hi to everybody and just, show them support and then do my class. But yeah, it's cool. It's exciting. He's just, they're just, going through the motions, making sure that they're keeping the side of the street clean and, like getting support letters from everybody. I've been helping with a little bit of that too, just making sure everybody's getting their stuff in so that, they have a pretty decent packet because they have so many people that want them out. So it's looking good, I mean, like, I'm not worried that they won't get out. It's just a matter of time,
Yeah. They will.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked to you since we got the news on the habeas. What was your reaction? You were all thrilled. So.
Oh yeah, I was completely blown away. It's it was great, and it's cool because I've heard, Judge Ryan, that he was one of the judges that I remember they kept talking about before even the resentencing, before any of this stuff happened, because he was amenable and fair, and I think he was. It's always just, the politics are just a weird thing. You always have to take that into account, whether they like the previous DA or the new DA. Like, it all matters. And I mean,
even the judges are elected, so it's all politics.
Yeah, 100%. And it really has to do with the relationships too. Like, even, with my own case, I've learned that early. Like, my lawyer was like, "Oh, let's wait for this. Let's postpone your hearing to the next week because this judge is more amenable to." These charges or whatever, it's like, and then I have a better relationship with this person. So it's like always just kind of like people talking to each other. But the good thing is, obviously, like, I feel like Judge Ryan would have been silly not to take it seriously because of the evidence, it would have been ridiculous if he, didn't even, consider it. So, and then it also just throws the ball back in the DA's court to be like, like he's getting hit from multiple angles. Come on. Are you really gonna die in this fucking mountain? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
Pardon the language, but it's like that's how I feel about it. It's like, for real? Like, there's actually like people out there hurting people in the streets right now. Like, and
Hoffman
these guys
has nothing. He has nothing on that.
He really doesn't. He's grasping at straws now.
Yeah.
I mean, Gabe, you went to the hearings. It was so evident he had nothing.
Yeah.
I
mean. And they even felt like I don't know. I mean, his team felt ill prepared in some instances too, like, you know, referring to Kitty's brother as Milton Friedman, or something like that, like, you know, the economist. And Garagos had to call him on that, be like, "Oh, are you talking about Milton Friedman, the economist? Oh, wait, sorry, like they didn't even, like, they couldn't even, you know, they were not even speaking correctly."
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was it was completely evident that they were just, and I mean, you know, I mean, honestly, morally, I can't imagine how they did it. It's like you're just literally traumatizing the victims of the crime again,
Yes.
and like, you know, and making them like discredit their character for what? Like, what's like, how is this? In what, you know, way is this serving justice? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So whatever though. I mean, I guess, you know, that's where they get paid the big tax paying bucks.
Right. Did you get any feedback from the brothers on the news about the habeas? Were they excited?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, was ecstatic. Yeah, he's just like, this is. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's great.
It's huge.
Yeah, totally. And it was like, you know, what's his name? Jessic was getting all the media attention, and so it's like Judge Ryan has got to jump in the game. So it's great. It's just, and that was like the silent sleeper, I think, that Garagos and Lyle were referring to. They're just like this. Everybody forgot about the habeas petition, but they both knew that it was going to come back around and be like pretty impactful, and they were completely right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was ecstatic. You know, gave me a big hug.
Good.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And we were too, trust me.
Yeah, we were so
We really were.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, it's great. It's all good. Just say would that be preferable? Of course, like nobody wants to go to transitional housing. Nobody wants to be on parole for years or whatever. It's just like, but I mean, of course, with their situation, you know, like it's just none of the usual rules make sense in so many different ways. Like even with the administration at Donovan, you know, like I've been told many times, like we can't give them special, you know, act like they're anybody different. You like, you know, we have to treat them like every other prisoner there. But it's like, really? Like, is Kim Kardashian coming to see somebody else? Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly.
just kind of like, you can't, I mean, just realistically, like honestly, like factually and practically, like they're just different. It's a different thing, you know, you can't, like they're, with that said though, there are tons of people there, of course, that deserve to be out as well.
Oh, of
And,
course.
but
Agreed.
there's also, hopefully that this situation and the precedent that this is being set with them, it's really going to change a lot of things for a lot of people, a lot of folks in there. So, everybody's rooting for them, you know?
Right.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Very good to hear.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, so I have a question. So for those watching tonight, what would you say is the next step in supporting the Menendez brothers and their path to freedom?
It depends on what happens after this parole board hearing. I think, you know, they can't necessarily, like, the parole board doesn't look at just letters from supporters necessarily that don't know them personally. It doesn't hold the same weight, of course. But I think there is a place people can, you know, show support. I think obviously everything that everybody's already doing is huge. You know, being on pages, posting about it, starting the conversation, enlightening people that don't know the facts of the case or what actually happened. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people. Because I'm one of the, you know, like we're 90s. You know, like I grew up in that era too. I was born in '78, so the way the media portrayed it, like there's so many people that don't know the facts of the case. They don't realize there was 2 trials. They don't realize that you know, the abuse that happened and how much evidence there was. There's just so many things. So I think educating people always is helpful.
Definitely.
But I mean, actually, I'll probably have to get back to you on more details when I talk to them again, when we see what happens after this parole hearing, because there'll probably be some new things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think what everybody's doing right now is great.
So do you think the letters help, like, for the parole board from supporters?
I don't know if they're not accepting those. From what I heard, just from the parole team or his legal team, because you know the parole board looks at people that know them personally, that have interacted with them, like at the prison. So that holds weight, you know, because if just saying I think that they should, it's like the parole board doesn't really care what anybody thinks necessarily, other than the people that have spent time with them and that can test their character, like personally. So it might not necessarily work. That would be helpful, but I think maybe, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say send it. I know there is a place that supporters can send letters. I'm not 100% sure where. That would be helpful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that they keep dibs on everything. And they see all the support that they're getting, and they're always just completely, grateful for everything, for everybody that's voicing their opinions and advocating for them. Like it's a whole army, it's great.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, yep. Based on your knowledge of the court system and your personal experiences, what do you think could realistically happen next in the Menendez case?
If it could go a couple different ways, because it's like they are who they are. So if say if they did have write-ups, you know what I mean, RVRs, 115s, whatever. If the parole board says, who cares about this, this isn't a factor anymore, that could set legal precedent in terms of, because like specifically the rights for contraband cell phones, right? Which everybody knows that correctional officers bring a lot of them in, they sell them as well to the population. They go and they bring them, they take them out when they do searches, and then they resell them back again. Like I know guys that have gotten phones from their cellmates resold back to them during Christmas time because people want to talk to their families and stuff like that. So if there might be a culture change, I think, if the parole board says this doesn't matter anymore, or at least they'll look at other things along with that. Like, yeah, sure, they got this. It's not drugs. It's not violence. It's a cell phone write-up. And what else have they done? Okay, look at like all these programs they started. Look at all the support they've given people. That could be one option, and they could grant them, parole in August for both of them. They could possibly look at one of them and say your record's more stellar than the other one, and release one person, but that would also cause a big uproar because that just wouldn't make sense necessarily. If they're trying to be objective, and just strictly go by how many programs have you done, what have you been involved with, blah 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 blah. There's paperwork on all that stuff, and then they could also get a denial, which would be not more than 3 years for sure because it's super small. And I think you're able to go back to the board after a 3-year denial in I think 6 to 8 months. So it would just be like a kind of temporary hold, and they'd be able to go back again. Only 6 to 8 months after if they were denied. So yeah, there's like 4 different tracks that could possibly happen. But there's always deals being made in terms of just realistically, the legal teams just do we really, really think that they're a harm to society? I mean, honestly, set aside, but the thing is that, CDCR and the parole board, everybody's trying to be objective, so they're not giving special treatment and stuff like that. But there's just certain things, I don't know. I have my own qualms with it. So it's a kind of a biased opinion on my side because a lot of the things that I believe that they're expecting of incarcerated folks is completely irrational and ridiculous. Like I mentioned, half the people that I know that are successful businessmen out here display all of these terrible traits that they condemn in people that are incarcerated. But, you know what I mean? But that these are who we idolize, these billionaires and CEOs of companies and stuff. And they're basically have the exact same traits as somebody that we would never let out of prison. So to me, it's kind of, that's ridiculous. But yeah, that's just my own personal opinion on that. But but we'll see. Either way, we're looking like this year or like before Christmas this year, or I think next year, if like the latest. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting. Like I'm trying to figure out what, I have like all these plans,
Good.
like about where I'm going to take them to eat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Like,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, take them to eat. Take them to the beach.
yeah, well, I think I was telling you, like, I have to remind both of them to be like, dude, like as soon as you're ready to travel, like you need to freaking leave and go see the world. Like you've been in prison for 35 years, like go see the world. Like we can work on green space and the mural and all the other stuff. Like it'll be here, I promise.
Yeah.
Well, and plus how technology is, they could do it right from a laptop too. So
Yes.
Yeah.
and still see the world. They've missed out on so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So,
And
Thank
but it's
you for
like,
education.
But you know too, I mean, like X is a perfect example of that, and like the kind of
duty that you feel like you have. Like if you get out, like one of these guys gets out that has the sentence that was like an LWOP, life without the possibility of parole, and there's still people inside that you know are just as deserving. Like you feel like it's your duty to try to figure out how, like, what you can do to help them get in your situation. Like that's what you're trying to do. It's like just reaching down and trying to pull the next person up. And like, so I know both of them feel like that. You know, it's we got to help out the people that have helped us while we were there. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Regina, we are approaching 2 hours, so I think I'm going to skip my next question.
I think we should end it now. No.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Gabe, what do you think?
we're approaching.
Yeah, I got some stuff I got to do actually too.
Yeah,
I don't want to take any more of your time. You already gave us
Yeah.
almost 2 hours.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. And we
So-
appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you
Very-
so much for taking all this time.
No,
Very
for
grateful.
sure.
Gabe. Very
I'm always, you know, like it's great. You guys always ask like the greatest questions, or and then also, you know, I love hearing X's journey and his intellect and his knowledge. He's always a very, very, you know, provocative like thinker, and so I always learn so much. It's like listening to a professor. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
very well spoken.
Well, you've had quite a journey too, Gabe, too.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
You sure have.
You know?
and it's not over yet. Wait till you
No.
see what we do next.
Not even close to being
Not
over.
even close.
And
Just
the work
beginning.
and the work you do, Gabe, is so worthwhile.
Yes.
Really
Thank you.
is.
I
It's
appreciate
incredible.
A lot
It's
of
nice.
people.
It. Good to hear that. I appreciate it.
So everybody go find Gabe's music on Spotify, right? And
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, everything. Yeah, I'm on. But it's my first album. It's like, so that's way dated. That's from like 2000. That's like when I first got out of jail. So there's a bunch of songs about jail, but there's new stuff that's coming out as soon as I have time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of
And
course. Thank you for having me.
And
Again,
when
I
and
love it.
when we get the great news about the habeas, we'll have you come right back.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
celebrate. We'll celebrate together.
Celebrate.
100%.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you
Right
so
on.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank you, Regina.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys for everything. Thank you, Handy, for all the questions
Appreciate
and
you
all the
all.
promo. And thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
How do I end this?
I don't know how to get